childhood education, was first taught about Corinne Callaghan. She discussed assumptions she had made while working with children. She assumed they were not capable of working with materials like plasticine because she thought it would be too difficult for them to shape and mold. She discusses ways to avoid making assumptions and how to set up a stimulating environment. We need to support the children, communicate with their understanding, and encourage collaboration between them, as stated by Callaghan.
Callaghan states in the video that according to Louise Malaguzzi,
each child with all his or her strengths is a gifted child who deserves a gifted teacher.
This quote really shows that we educators need to understand children are capable and competent. It also shows that they deserve to be supported. We need to provide flexible environments that are stimulating, inviting, and provocative. By doing so, we need to recognize that children may exceed their expectations. An example of this is when Callaghan recalls a time when her class was attempting to make water pipes out of straws. When her co-worker picked out the smaller size straws, she was confident that children were not going to be able to use them by saying, "It's not going to work. They can't manage these little tiny straws." She goes on to say that soon afterwards, the children were creating a 10-foot-long pipe of the straws, even when she assumed it should be difficult for them. After that experience, Callaghan says, we want to make sure that the environment has enough complexity that children can find their level. Her assumptions that the children could not manage would have held her back from supporting them in all the domains of development during that activity.
Along with support, children need communication.
Callaghan states that we need to treat everyone in the classroom as a teacher as well as a learner, because you cannot assume how an activity is going to turn out. As educators, we will learn an abundance of different things from the students as they will learn from us. We need to communicate and encourage students to continue with their development. In addition to that, she mentioned in the video that as an educator, our intention is to make sure that there is enough richness, that children find their places, and that they are encouraged when they see other possibilities to just continue with their exploration. Communication is an important aspect of developing relationships with the children. Through communication, we as educators need to connect to them, to be responsive and reflective.
Finally, Callaghan discussed the collaboration between the children to promote social development by encouraging children to collaborate. She says, we often will set up intentional collaboration, even just the setup of our easel. Children will often paint side by side, not just one child on this side and one child on that side. This intentional setup invites children to work and play together, thus sparking interest in what each other is working on. It also implements communication and social skills between the children. She sets up an eventing environment that offers opportunities for children to join in on activities together. This means the children are able to choose what they do and are flourishing in developmental domains without realizing they are learning. There are many ways we as educators can set up activities that are inventing and exciting for children to engage in together, as made clear by Callaghan.
Let's reflect, shall we? This video confirms our philosophy. From this video, we are made to acknowledge that adding materials that we think might be too advanced for the age group can actually improve creative, critical thinking, logical reasoning, and problem solving. We are also made to recognize that there are opportunities for children to exceed our expectations as they help us create new activities to incorporate new materials that we as future educators would not have even thought of to include beforehand. We know that children are competent, curious, and complex thinkers, but we do not think about challenging them with materials. From this course, we already know that the importance of communication, collaboration, and support in learning environments.
To implement these 3 points, Callaghan stated that there are many things we as educators can do to ensure that we are supporting children by creating a stimulating environment. An example of changing the environment to make it more stimulating would be to take indoor activities and resources outside, such as books and creative expressions. Alternatively, bringing a painting activity outside will allow the children to experience doing artwork out in nature. These are some activities we as educators can integrate to support the learning of our students. To implement the practice of communication, we can allow the students to be teachers and encourage them to see themselves as being capable of doing so. As said by Callaghan, seeing everyone in the room as teachers and everyone in the room as a learner. To show each child that we care about communicating with them, we as educators must listen attentively and always be responsive to the needs of every child. We can implement the practice of collaboration by setting up our environments with activities that will grab the attention of multiple students simultaneously. An area such as a playhouse can be full of creative expression materials for imaginative play. Loose parts is an ideal example of best practices since it encourages and motivates children to not only discover and explore, but also to create a unique growing experience. Additionally, this strategy is proven to not only enhance their capabilities but broaden their perceptions and horizons. It also engages a child's creativity. Callaghan states that children should be encouraged to work together and learn new things by themselves without the guidance and support from the educators. Placing non-constructive objects around the room can assist the children to do just that. Items such as paper pads, markers, scissors, yarn, glue, beads, and paints facilitates a wonderful opportunity for children to express themselves. These materials encourage children to explore their own creative outlets while simultaneously working on things such as their fine and gross motor skills. Another example would be to implement items into the room that can challenge the children to think on their own and try new things. Objects such as puzzles and experiments encourage ingenuity, and thus, in turn, this fosters an inventive atmosphere for the children. This provides a challenge and an outlet for creative expression. We must also focus on being responsive and caring by building strong relationships with the children and assisting them by guiding them through overcoming their obstacles. This would help them build emotional competence, and self-regulatory skills.
It's apparent that Karim Kargan video questioning our assumption gave a variety of information on the learning environment. Supporting children in their environment by communicating and encouraging collaboration are something that we plan to implement in our future profession. As a future educator, another direction which can be utilized is listening to the children and learning from them to promote an engaging and cooperative learning environment. Overall, we intend to continually educate ourselves regarding methods to improve learning experience and environment for the benefit of our children reaching their maximum potential. We can do this by formulating more strategies to enhance children's way of thinking and learning.